than a century ago, Andrew Carnegie brought together art, natural history, and music all under one roof when he created the Carnegie Museums in Pittsburgh. Back then, it represented a whole new approach to left brain, right brain sort of thinking. Well, today, the Carnegie Museum of Natural History is at it again, tossing science and education together in a whole new approach to the museum business. And it's been getting national, if not international, attention. Sam Taylor is director of the Carnegie Museum of Natural History, and welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you, Bill. It's great to be here.
Yeah, you've been shaking up the museum world. That's good. I mean, you know, major institution here in Pittsburgh. But this, if you're sort of reorganizing the whole way the museum functions into what, centers? Is that how?
5 interdisciplinary centers.
Okay, and to those of us not in the museum world, what does that really mean?
Well, what that really means is that, you know, as a result of a strategic planning process that we were engaged in for about the last year, we decided to take a fresh look at how we think about the way that we work, how we articulate our work to the public, and really how we engage with our community. Even though we have thought, and most people have thought who know a lot about the museum, that we've been doing great work for 115 years. We actually have never changed the way that we do business in 115 years. And so there are a lot of fresh challenges in the world. There are challenges in terms of raising money for the museum. There are challenges in reaching a really diverse community. And there's challenges just in terms of refreshing our own concept of ourselves. One of the things that we wanted to do was break down the silos within the museum. One of those silos has long been, there's the public side of the museum with education and our exhibitions that all our visitors see. There's also a private side of the museum where we have world-class scientists, we have some of the most exceptional natural history museum collections in the world, but they're behind closed doors. And a lot of people don't know that we're a scientific organization, that we're doing incredible cutting-edge research on topics that have a lot to do with people's lives, but it's not visible to the public.
Back in my days as a TV reporter 20 or more years ago, I used to love to go do those behind-the-scenes stories at the Carnegie, the entomologists, the paleontologists, all of that. But I never realized there really was kind of an operational and cultural split between those two sides of the institution.
One of the things that the centers are trying to do is align the front of the house with the back of the house, so that the exhibitions and the programs actually reveal the science that's going on at the museum, that talk about the kind of research we do, make the collections more accessible to people, make the whole process of scientific inquiry more accessible to people, but also talk about that research that we do in terms of topics that actually matter to people's lives. So what's happening with nature? You know, what's happening with the extinction of species? What's happening with the loss of habitats? What's happening with the impact of Marcellus Shale on our region? All the kinds of things that we're doing. Our scientists studying nature have a lot to say about these topics, and yet, you know, we don't need another education program about the skunk. You know, why not an education program that really lets kids dig in and understand their interaction with nature? Well,
you talk about something like Marcellus Shale, though. I mean, that's very topical. That seems awfully topical for a natural history museum, which always seems to be more static, I guess would be the word.
Well, you know, a lot of people think of a natural history museum as a place that describes the past, all right? It's a natural history museum. It's the history of nature. We really want to be seen, and this is not just, you know, this is not just marketing language. This is in fact what we do. We're an organization that has as its primary mission generating new knowledge about nature. That's what our scientists are doing. They're using our historical collections, but they're also studying the planet as it exists today, generating new knowledge so that we have the ability to inform our future. If you know, a lot of people think, you know, if you wanted to know something about the future, you know, who would you go talk to? You go talk to some futurist or something like this. No, go to the scientists at a natural history museum if you want a prediction about the future, because it's the knowledge that they're generating about how the planet works and how it has responded to change in the past that informs what it's going to be in the future. So climate change, population issues, the impact of industrial activity on habitats, that's the kind of business we're involved in now.
Wow, you only have about a minute left, but I'm wondering, you've been here for about 3 years now. This new approach has been rolling out for a year. How's it manifesting itself? Are visitors to the museum beginning to see and feel this?
Yes, the visitors are beginning to see this. We now have programs where we have educators and we have scientists together on the exhibit floor every weekend. I'll give you an example. Marcellus Shale. We have a geologist and an educator side by side on the floor with a cart with a big piece of the rock that is Marcellus Shale. And our visitors can come up and they'll say, here it is, touch, feel it. This is where the gas comes from. People will be able to see that this is a porous rock. Pour a cup of water on a piece of Marcellus Shale, that water will disappear into the rock. And they'll understand that this is a porous rock. People will, after 5 minutes of an interaction like this, will say, I know more about this topic now than I have from all the newspaper articles I've ever read.
Wow.
That's amazing to me, but it's an example of the kind of dialogues that we can have there at the museum. But the public, the foundation response has been great too. In the 6 months since we announced these new centers, we've raised about $2.25 million to support these new centers.
Wow. Well, I can tell just by the description of that one exhibit, it's true. That kind of hands-on, visible demonstration can do more to educate than all the papers in the world, I think.
Absolutely.
Well, really exciting. Congratulations. Reinventing the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. Everybody should go down and check it out. Sam Taylor.
We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.
Ben Franklin's one of Pennsylvania's favorite sons. Find out about his ties to the founding of Pittsburgh when our Region's Business returns.